Hi guys, happy Thursday, happy short day. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time today, mostly because we finished the book and all of these themes and everything that keeps coming up over and over and over again as the result of all of these conflicts being resolved, we're going to need a lot more time than just this short time on my podcast, which I know not all of you watch anyway. But then again, I guess I really shouldn't complain, because if you're hearing me say that, you're watching my podcast. So forget I said anything. At any rate, we're going to talk a lot about the themes and the main idea of this story next week. So I'll save a bunch of what I would have said on my podcast today, or on my blog, as it were, today. I'll save that for next week. But I do want to just point out one thing that I think it's important to be thinking about. The title of the book is Walk Two Moons. And the full phrase is, before you judge someone else, walk 2 moons in their moccasins. Well, Sal and Gramps play this game called the moccasin game, which is the title of the post. And it's very interesting because this business about us being quality readers and trying to make connections, see, it doesn't just have to happen in literature. See, what Sal and Gramps were doing was happening in real life. Yes, we were reading about it in a book, but they were doing this in real life, where they say, you know, if I were walking in so-and-so's moccasins, I would think, or I would feel, and if I were walking in so-and-so's moccasins, I would feel, I would believe, I would have to, I would want to. And they put themselves in the position of other people. And if I were selecting a main idea for this story, I would think that that would probably be a pretty good place to start, considering the author found it important enough to slap that title on it, Walk Two Moons. So I want to encourage you to play this moccasin game in your real life. Not just while you're reading literature, but in an attempt to connect and communicate and fully understand people and the world around you. This is such a valuable game. What a valuable game. Before you judge somebody, or when you're trying to understand somebody, or when you're wondering why something's going on, or when you're wondering about how somebody's treating you, or how somebody's acting, or how somebody's... Put yourself in their moccasins. Play the moccasin game. And see if that doesn't make it a little bit more clear to you. See, we never really, before we complain about somebody or something, decide to put ourselves in that position. We rarely choose to do that. We think, how dare that person, or how could that person, or why is this person... If we think a little bit more, and we try to put ourselves in that position, is it possible that we'd be acting very similarly? And I think the more we try to do that, the more we, as people in society in general, would be able to relate to one another, and would be able to treat each other better, and would be able to see from other people's perspectives. And I think that a lot of the conflicts that we have in our own lives would just start to disappear if before we got bent out of shape, and before we just... We stopped a second, we said, you know what? If I were in this person's moccasins, if I were walking in this person's moccasins, is it possible that I might be acting the same way? And it doesn't excuse any bad behavior, or any violence or meanness or any of that, but it does give us a way to understand how and why that person might be feeling, acting, saying, whatever, that way. And that's a really important lesson for us to learn as human beings. A lot of people in general just have never stopped to learn that lesson. And you guys are learning that lesson in 7th grade. I feel really confident that if you put this lesson in your hearts, you are going to grow up to be some of the best people that this world has ever seen. And it's all as a result, and I hate to keep saying this, but it's all as a result of us really, truly reading. Being that quality reader who looks at a book, who looks at a character, who looks at a conflict and says, I need to understand this so I can connect to it, so I can learn from it, and the way I'm going to do that is by fully connecting and immersing in the literature itself. And that's what these organizers have been intended for you to do. And that's what this whole look at the book, using fire starters, using these organizers, making you think, really think, has been designed to do. And it's not a coincidence that everybody's been raising their hand when I say, who's enjoying this book? Is this one of the best books you've ever read? People keep raising their hand for that. This is the type of thinking that needs to go into all the books that you read. And the moccasin game is something that you can play all day, every day, in an effort to help you understand the people around you, understand the world around you better. And I hope it's a decision you make. Don't forget that everything is due tomorrow. Your full packet. I have attached a little handy helper to the bottom of this post, which is all of my teacher notes from the end of the book. And you might just want to take a look at those. It may just save you an awful lot of time on your organizers tonight. It's a little reward for continuing to be great students and visiting my podcast. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for a writer's workshop. I bet you're anxious to do that because we haven't been able to do that for about a month. Well, I gave you one last week, but a lot of you, I was told to me, use it to catch up on some work that you had been neglecting. So let's please try to make tomorrow an actual writer's workshop where you can write about whatever you want. Because honestly, that's more fun sometimes, to write about whatever you want, instead of listening to what I want to hear from you. Just my 2 cents. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great Thursday.